Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining in today. I just want to let you know that I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today. Um, I've been on vacation for the past for the past week or so. I went down south to go visit family, to spend Thanksgiving, visit my dad. Those kind of things during the holidays. So, guess which holiday I am? I'm cold. I had a lot of turkey. Not too much turkey. I did have a couple servings because I don't usually do turkey during this time. Turkey's not like my favorite meal, so I don't I don't do turkey too much. But when I do, I have fond memories of having turkey sandwiches in the past, where I would take the old turkey that we had from Thanksgiving, from that holiday, and slice it up, and then put Swiss cheese, tomatoes, and all that kind of stuff. Do I use cranberry sauce? I don't know. Whatever the case, I do love turkey sandwiches with Swiss. That's with lettuce and tomatoes or something like that, mayo and all. So always near and dear to my heart. And so that's what I did. Went down south, um, visit my family, good time. Um, a lot of things to talk about if I want to talk about my family and stuff. But what I wanted to do today was do a special stream. I'm gonna do both. What I usually do is I do a video just with saying the verses, and then I'd start streaming, saying the verses again, highlighting, and then kind of going over um, what I did. It apparently on day 53 I didn't write down anything, but I think on day 54 and above I started writing stuff, and I'll just kind of go over what I did. And so yeah, just to keep up with my stream, I want to be consistent with that. So I'm going to go over all of them all the way up to day 59, recording the recording my reading, and then just talking about the verses and stuff like that and going through it. So it might be a longer one than usual, but that's what it is. Maybe afterwards we'll go do some League of Legends or something like that if you want to join me. But maybe I'll do breakfast. Breakfast would be good. But oh, dude, am I wonder why the thing, it looked like my camera was a little bit off. Anyways, let me check my settings here. I want to make sure that, oh yeah, good. I don't know when my kids are going to get up, so I'm going to try to not have them in the background. So do my, check my volume and everything. So here we go. Proverbs 11:7-8, ESV. When the wicked dies, his hope will perish, and the expectation of wealth perishes too. The righteous is delivered from trouble, and the wicked walks into it instead. All right. I didn't really say anything about these ones. Let's go over these ones. All right. So let's just remember our baselines. Baselines is something you could kind of go over if you want to look at the description. I put the baselines over there. You can go ahead and read that on your own. But generally speaking, it's the baseline is that you follow God, you fear the Lord, and because you fear the Lord, you understand that wisdom is a big part of following Him. And through that, you'll live a, fulfilling life. Not necessarily material wise. You may have material wealth, but it's more like relational, spiritual wealth that you'll receive, and something that lasts eternally. Because material wealth will eventually fade and go away, especially when you die. It's not going to be there anymore. You could leave a legacy of wealth, but the legacy you should be leaving your progeny, what we were talking about, is a life of how to live a good life with other people. That's more important. It's not selfish, but kind, and looking out for other people, love, joy, peace, patience, and all that kind of stuff. So we're talking about in these particular verses. We're on day 53. By the way, we're looking at day 53. We're looking at the wicked, obviously. We're looking at the righteous, the wicked, and deliver from trouble, and the wicked walks into it instead. Okay. So the it's talking about hope in general. And if we go back to the material wealth, what we're talking about, and it's talking about wealth again, wealth perishes. Whoops. That wasn't what's supposed to happen. So the consequence of the wicked is wealth perishes, and for the righteous, they're delivered from trouble. Um, and the wicked walks into it and said, I'm all over the place right now, but let me go ahead and his hope will perish. Okay. The hope, the hope of the wicked is, I think that's everyone's hope. Everyone's hope is this idea that whatever they do, they'll leave a legacy um, that continues forward even after you die. And that's what hope means. What is gonna happen in the future? What's gonna especially when you die, where are you gonna go? What's gonna happen with the things that you have and everything like that? So the wicked is the people who are deceptive, lies, cheats, does things for selfish gains in a negative way. There's nothing wrong with being selfish when you're trying to help yourself and everything. Sometimes you need to be selfish with your time to go ahead and get mental health and work out and stuff like that. Sometimes you just need to take time to go ahead and do those things. But what a wicked does, it's basically um, their gain is not in a positive way. And actually, the things they gain, sometimes they gain what they have, their wealth, with not even pure ways. They may have cheated, they may have lied their way into getting what they have right now. Whatever the case, their focus is on themselves. Their focus is on fulfilling their own desires or base desires. Maybe it's sex, getting power, whatever it is, lust, whatever it is. And they may hope that there may be something in them for the future. But the thing is, when they die, all the things that they've been working for will go away too. It would perish. It's whatever it is. And the life that they're thinking they're going to have, it'll be gone. And whatever that hope is, and that's a general hope of everything, not necessarily wealth and stuff like that, like being remembered and stuff like that. It's pretty sad if you have children, when you're wicked, and your children looks not fondly on the time that you had with them. That they're happy that you're gone, and so that's pretty bad. And your wealth perishes too. Like you may have a lot of wealth and you give it to your kids. It's like, thank you, dad, for giving that to me. Now I can move on and do my own thing, not honoring your memory. Okay. But if you're righteous, doing things in the right way, living a good life, having words that come out of your mouth that are life giving and uplifting and positive, yeah, you'll be delivered from trouble. And then unfortunately, the wicked walks into it instead. So again, the idea is that what do you hope for and what kind of life are you leading right now? So I guess that's the gist of day 53. All right, move on. I'm going to go to day 54. Ooh, I did a lot here. I'm probably gonna have to read over it, but I'll see if I could do it straight offhand because that was a few days ago. Um, if I remember that. So let's go ahead and record the verses, the reading. All right, go. Ooh. Proverbs 11, 9 to 10, ESV. With his mouth, the godless man would destroy his neighbor, but by knowledge, the righteous are delivered. When it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices. but when the wicked perish, there are shouts of gladness. One thing about these verses is that just be aware. I've been talking about this with my wife a lot. Is that this is a baseline and this is the ideal, and it is not for us to be all of that. I think that's stressful. I think that's it's like the opposite of what the proverb, what being a believer is. We are constantly being sanctified day by day as we are reading the word and kind of moving forward and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is that we're never perfect. We will never be perfect and completely follow every single thing that the God has been telling us to do. The Holy Spirit is leading you. We're following what Jesus says, following his teachings, loving God, fearing him, and all that kind of stuff. We're doing everything that we can. And yet sin is still with me on my shoulder, still getting me, still like messing around with me. My negative thoughts come in. Maybe words come out of my mouth that shouldn't have come out of my mouth, especially to my son and my wife, children and stuff, and even my friends. Like the other day, I had to go ahead and apologize to my brother because I kind of made fun of his hair because he has a receding hairline, and actually the top of his head is losing hair. Now I have hair growing here, and yes, I have a receding hairline right here. But he had the fade, like like you can tell it's like balding. So he was balding, and then we're just talking about. I just kind of mentioned that to him. I was kind of doing it in jest, and I realized, you know what? That's not what Proverbs teach. The words that come out of our mouth should be life giving and uplifting. And that's been my thing for a long time, is being sarcastic and joking around. Now, I think you could joke around when you're in the mode of joking around and stuff like that. I asked him later, and he said, "No, it's no big deal. Didn't take any offense, but I didn't want to be offensive, and I wanted to make sure I was in the right relationship before we met our dad, because my dad's in hospice and he lives far away from us. So we met someplace to grab lunch, and then when I saw him get lunch, his hair was. I had noticed that he wears hats, so his hair is receding, and so I was like, "Huh." So I don't know how it came about. Where we made a comment. Of course, I made a comment. The comment was being old. We're getting old, which is true. We're getting old, and can't do anything about that. We're just getting old, and so I went up to him and kind of apologized for that and stuff like that. But again, if I'm not perfect, and the sarcasm comes out. Now, the hard thing is working with my son. My son has a really hard time. Anything we say, generally 80% of the time, he would say something the opposite, being contrary, speaking the negative. The word we use as a family is called yuck or yum. So we're excited, like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." He would say, "No, it's not," kind of thing. It's because it's annoying. And I told him it was exhausting to hear that. And so I'm going to call him out on that, because that is definitely not a habit you want to keep, especially if you want to keep relationships. Being that guy who would be contrary all the time. That's ridiculous. Don't do that. Um, so I just want to make that clear. When we're talking about the baselines, it's a baseline, it's an ideal. Um, it's not for us to be stressed over all of it, but gradually and slowly we start being the full image that God has envisioned for us to be in our lives as we're interacting and we're living with others. Because we're sinful, impure, and imperfect people. So, of course, we're not going to go ahead and do everything perfectly. Now, if you're trying to be perfect all the time, you're going to be stressed. So, just live your life, do your best. When you mess up, go ahead and apologize and kind of adjust. So, we're slowly adjusting over time. It's not something that you could do like right then and there. It's ridiculous to think that you could just go ahead and just do it. So, I don't know, it's just the way it is. Um, so let's go over these verses here. Okay. So we're talking about godless man, godless man here, the knowledge of the righteous, godless man, the righteous. Let's see. I want to know how I'm gonna. um, the wicked. So I just want to do the nouns. So the righteous and the godless man and the wicked, they're all kind of joined together. I'm gonna try to do this without having to look at my notes. Okay. Just remember godless and wicked and righteous and the righteous and stuff like that. Again, we're gonna go back to what a wicked man is, a godless man is someone who does not fear God, who does his own thing, who could lie and cheat and steal, who gets material wealth through probably maybe hard work, but also they could do it in a way that's deceitful and um, in ways that are not appropriate. They slanderous of other people, and they do a lot of things. The words that come out of our mouth are not life giving, but kind of destroy and kind of do all that. While the righteous man is kind of the opposite. They're the ones that, yes, they do good things. They try to live a life that's good. The words that come out of my mouth is life giving. Again, I've said this before. I'm repeating myself, so hopefully I don't say that. But in this case, they're talking about, and again, this is highlighting the mouth of the godless destroys your neighbor, but by knowledge, I'm going to underline this, the righteous are delivered. Okay. And so, again, when a godless man speaks, the words of their mouth can destroy their neighbor or people around them, which is hard to be around these people. You could call them like toxic people. You could call them like Karens. Yeah. They could be the friends that kind of randomly come say stuff out of their mouths and kind of really bring things down on people, which is terrible. But by knowledge, the righteous are delivered. So people, the righteous person with the knowledge and wisdom that they have are able to kind of be delivered from the destruction that you could get from other people. Um, and that's the thing. Um, so that first verse 9 is all about that, is the differences, what comes out of the mouth of a person and the life-giving words that come out of the mouth of the righteous as they're delivered. So um be a man or woman that has knowledge, that thinks logically, that uses wisdom, and you'll be delivered by a lot of this destruction you would get from like toxic people. So be aware of that. I'm not saying that you have to if it's your friends, you don't have to totally remove yourself from these people, because they do need a good example or someone that's in their corner. Um, and maybe they themselves can be delivered um, and learn the errors of their way. But it's not for us to kind of tell them, "Oh, you're bad. You're a wicked person." No, you, in love, if we go with Jesus, love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, if they're destroying your neighbor, you have to help them. But if they're a lost cause, maybe there is grounds for going ahead and not being uh, with them for a time, saying, I need to be separated from you for a little bit. Let's I can't handle it right now with you or something like that. I've tried. I want you to be a better person, but right now you're a negative influence on the people around me. So you might have to call that out. Okay. And that's a part of it too, is being in love, confronting those people who are having that you're having a hard time with, especially if they're being detrimental to the relationships around you. So be aware of that. Um, just because you're loving towards other people and righteous and wise and stuff like that doesn't mean you do confrontations and calling people out. Actually, in love, you should be calling people out who are people close to you, right? Yeah, that's for sure. I'm not sure about the internet trolls and stuff like that. I don't want to get into discourse online and posting things of God. And for some reason, I feel like and it doesn't sit well with me when people argue like that. It's not a good forum for debate. So I think the best debates are kind of like the Charlie Kirk style, where you're just standing in front of each other and agree to disagree and kind of talk about ideas and stuff like that. And so, um, rest in peace, Charlie. Oh, yeah, the second verse, verse 10. When a righteous, see, the thing about the righteous person is that everyone is kind of has a positive bias towards this person. And so I could actually see that um, people, when they look at a righteous person, they feel comfortable with them, at peace with that person. they're encouraged by that person. So that person is a positive influence on the world around them, whether it's their job, the workplace, whatever, in the place of recreation like a gym or playing basketball and all that good stuff. And when it goes well with these people, yeah, the city rejoices. And I think that is a positive things. When positive things happen to people you love, obviously you're gonna rejoice. It's gonna be and everyone's kind of like giving you high fives. Yeah, what's up? And so like, and that's a good thing. But here the different is when the wicked perish, when bad things, which is sad, when bad things happen to a wicked person, there are shouts of gladness, and that's the opposite because um, with with the trolls, I'll say this: for some reason, there's this videos you can watch that calls out Karens and karma happens where or that thing like yes like I've also been seeing on YouTube shorts or in the news feed those videos on when those people steal packages from porches and there's a bomb that's laid inside of it that just explodes and gets them all paint all over them and stuff like that and dust and stuff like that. I don't know. The shouts of gladness when someone who steals gets their due reward. They should get arrested, but they don't always do. They get away with it. So, what can we do as citizens to do something like provide packages that allows them to get exploded in their face? The thing that gets me on these little videos is that they go to the ring camera. They go, "We're going to sue you" and all that kind of stuff. But like, dude, seriously, you went on my porch on my private property. You picked up my item and tried to run away with it. That act in itself, like seriously, people could get shot for such things. Be happy that your face is yellow. That's all I have to say about it. Shouts of gladness. When Karen jumps up with you and they try to do something and they trip over and stuff like that, there's no remorse. There's no remorse. We're like in maybe this is a part of our wickedness in us. When those Karen falls, we're kind of like, "Ah, ah." That's how I feel about that. All right, let's move on. Moving right along here. Let's move right along. Moving on. So that's basically day 54, Proverbs 11, 9 to 10. Hope you learned something. All right, let's go to day 55. I already did this one, but let's go ahead and do the recording. Here we go. Proverbs 11, 11 through 12 in the ESV. By the blessing of the upright, a city is exalted, but by the mouth of the wicked, it is overthrown. Whoever belittles his neighbor lacks sense, but a man of understanding remains silent. I have to do that again. Um, I want to have a good recording, so I don't want to skip. Sometimes I feel like I say words over and over again, or I say the wrong word, or add an S at the end. You guys do that sometimes? Anyways, here we go. Proverbs 11, 11 through 12 in the ESV. By the blessing of the upright, a city is exalted, but by the mouth of the wicked, it is overthrown. Whoever belittles his neighbor lacks sense, but a man of understanding remains silent. Okay. Let's pack this up. Yeah. Uh again, going back to what I said about the upright, yeah. Someone who's wisdom, wise, kind of follows God and all that kind of stuff. The wicked is the one person who is lying, cheating, uh, words come out of their mouth, destroys other people and everything like that. And so um when the upright, which these are righteous people, obviously. When the righteous person does things by the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted. Seriously, people who are following God, doing what is right, having a good influence, uplifting other people, being encouraging, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the city, people around you are excited about that. Um, I'm not saying that you're always going to get a job opportunities because of your positive personality, but I think the percentages are higher when you are positive, you are doing a good job, you're a hard worker, and you speak with integrity and do really good and pure of heart and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that you're perfect in all that ways, but in general, when you're in the workplace and do the right thing most of the time, yeah, it's a blessing, and people will recognize that. People will trust you. Um, not to toot my own horn, but yeah, generally teachers or admin and teachers and students generally feel like I'm a good teacher. Albeit, I wish I had more time to do other things. They gave me more times, or I had one less class so I could work on it, or I was really good with my sleeping. Because, again, even though I'm a good teacher, I don't plan as well as I should. And I feel like even after 20 years of over 20 years of teaching, I still like I have a lot to learn. And so I'm not perfect. And there's a lot of other teachers that I kind of see and I wish I did could do those things, or I have in my mind these creative ideas that I want to do but I don't do. But whatever the case, um people are excited to see be with people who work well, our integrity can be trusted and all that kind of stuff. But the wicked, on the other hand, what comes out of their mouth, it is overthrown. I guess what they're saying is that the people who are disrespectful, didn't do a good job, doesn't communicate very well and stuff like that, they lose jobs. They don't get opportunities, people don't trust them, and that's not a good thing. You don't wanna be like that. You wanna be someone who kinda can be seen as someone with integrity, someone who could work well, in this world, and that is what is generally honored, is that, you're doing the right thing, you're doing the things that you need to do, and generally try your best, okay? Whoever belittles is again, these are the wicked again. We're talking about the same thing. If you are being disrespectful, yucking people's yum, uh, talking behind people's back in a negative way, and not finding ways to improve that relationship, you're lacking sense. You're just a gossip monger. You're a slanderer. You're not doing the thing that you should be doing. Now, if you have a problem with your neighbor, whoever that is, your friend, family member, coworker, whatever, you need to go up to those people and kind of talk to them about that. What the heck? I know that teachers in general, that's why I don't like talking about other teachers. When students talk about, oh, I hate my teacher. Well, I'm not going to talk about that stuff. When coworkers talk about other coworkers, I don't like getting into that. I would like to see for myself things that they're doing so I can have my own judgment on that. But I don't like to get into those kind of conversations and stuff like that. So I know that we say things generally like the history departments are so left leaning. They're like, okay, so you might say that politically and stuff like that. That's a general stereotype of history teachers. Okay. Um, I don't know. It is lacks sense when you disrespect other people. So don't do it. So which leads to this thing. If you understand what's going on and the drama and the toxicity that's happening, don't say anything. Why engage in such conversation? Um, especially if you don't have any recourse or any way to solve the issue. Because we want to be people who solve the issues, not just talk about the issues. Yeah, talk about, discuss, debate, whatever, come up to an agreements, but also come up with plans in which we can make things better. I think there's some big gigantic things politically that we like to debate and discuss and everything. But one way we could do is encourage us to vote in a way that is feels good for us. Like someone voting for someone who follows the same values, who are going to make the decisions that you would agree with. I'm not saying that these politicians will make the decisions that you vote for them. I'm saying at least they said it. And now I'm going to hold them accountable. If they don't do it, then we should vote them out. I don't think we use voting. I think people should vote more their opinions. I think if you're moderate in the middle and stuff like that, you still vote something because you have to kind of help get in office a person that leans towards things that you believe in and what you want your community to be like. That's all I have to say about that. Okay. Um, well, okay. Next one. Mm, mm. Oh, did I not do this one? Did I not do this one? Well, whatever. I'm still on day 56 now. All right, day 56. There we go. Okay. Recording Proverbs 11:13 to 14 ESV. Whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets, but he who is trustworthy in spirit keeps a thing covered. Where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Yeah, this is pretty good. I kind of like this one because it does the thing with the counselors. The counselor, that abundance of counselors. Um, I need to put this in a different color. More colors. Can I do this like in a pink? There you go. I'll do this in a pink. All right. Abundance of counselors, there is safety. I think that's the biggest one right there. People with no guidance. When there is no guidance, I'm going to put that in the orange. People falls. Oh, it's almost like so I gotta maybe I could do a different color. When here we go. Let's just do yellow. Abundance of counselors, there is safety. Okay, I got it. Whoever does what okay. Am I recording here? I'm not recording. Okay. Whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets, but he who is trustworthy in spirit keeps a thing covered. There where there is no guidance, the people falls, where there is abundance. Okay. Whoever goes about slandering, I guess that I just put this as the orange. That's the wicked and evil person. This person reveals secrets, which is terrible. He who is trustworthy in spirits keeps the thing covered. Okay, so this goes back to the mouth thing. What comes out of your mouth is a big issue. I know I went over to verse 14 for some reason, but I did that. Um, whoever goes about slandering real secrets is this idea of self control and the purpose in which you reveal information. And people people will come into your confidence over time as you get to know people, build relationships and stuff like that. And your friends will tell you things that are in confidence that it should be understood that they should be kept secret and it's between you and them because they trust you and they want to go ahead and reveal that to you because in the saying of the secret there is something releasing about that, especially if it's a problem. People who keep problems balled up and hidden inside. Um, I heard it was said to those of old that people who bottle things up eventually explode, and whoever's around them during the explosion, it does not go well with them. So you need to have someone you could talk to. And so if they come up to you and talk to you, is because they want to get it off their chest. They don't necessarily want you to solve their problem, but they want to go ahead and just say it because it feels better to say it. And they need someone to say it with because, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know you introverts out there, even introverts need a relationship. We are social beings, we are made to be together. And the issue is, when we are together, are we uplifting or are we destroying each other? And people who reveal secrets destroy each other, destroy relationships. So when someone goes into confidence with you about something as issue, you should be honored that they trust you enough to reveal that secret, and you should respect them enough not to say anything to anybody. As a educator, I am bound by law to report to someone if someone in confidence tells me that they're going to harm themselves or someone else. And I have to reveal that because I can lose my job if I don't say anything. So if I have a student who goes into my confidence and does that, then I have to say it to them that I'm going to have to talk to someone about that. So that's what it is. So Whoever goes about slandering is a negative things, and they're the people that reveal secrets, which is a negative. Don't do it. So be self-controlled, have respect for the other person, feel honored that someone has trusted you enough to come up to you, and don't reveal secrets. Again, that's what the second part of verse 13 is all about is again, if someone's trustworthy, you keep it covered. You'll lose that trust when you reveal that information. But if you want to reveal the information, you should ask, hey, is it okay if I tell such and such about the thing? I know you don't want to tell them. Maybe they do want to say to other people what it is, but they don't feel comfortable about doing it, but they would like you to do it. That could happen. You can do that. Anyways, verse 14 is all about where you re- where you receive guidance or advice or counsel. And I want to say right now, you should not make big decisions on your own. Like if you want to go have pizza or something like that, that's fine. If you want to buy something and it's in your budget, go ahead and fine, buy it, stuff like that. For myself, if I have to purchase something really big, no, I can't. I can't just do. I have to ask my wife. Hey, wife, I want to get this new $1,000 TV. Actually, I would rather get $1,000, $2,000 computer. By the way, that's how I feel about that. So, um, but if you have no guidance on big decisions, you're going to make a bad decision, right? You need to have discourse with someone about decisions you're going to make and all that. So be aware of that. That's something you have to do. Um, Mhm. Yeah, you'll be safe. You'll be safe if you have like a bunch of advice. Now, don't do the advice as a way of gossiping. Oh my gosh, she did such and such and such, and you're receiving sympathy and all that kind of stuff. No, if you make a decision, like, hey, I want to go up to like if you have a problem with someone else, don't slander them by saying how bad they are. Say you have an issue with someone. I don't want to reveal with it. Um, you have to have an open mind of how you are a part of the problem with the other person also, not necessarily just their problem. It's also like a duo thing. That's all I have to say. But if you have a lot of counselors, it helps. Okay. Don't do it on yourself. And you'll fall, your relationships will fall, and you'll also make bad decisions financially and like in life. So have people you could talk to. Don't do things by yourself. Make sure you have people that are like your peers, but also people you respect who are older and wiser than you. Those are good people also. You do need to have wise counselors. Do I have wise counselors? I have my friends, family, my wife. I do need like an older person. That'd be kind of nice to have an older person in my life. But that has been a theme for like over 20, 30 years is always having someone who disciples me. I disciple other people, but I would like to meet with someone who's older than me that I respect, which I did, but I would like to meet with an older person. I respect. So I don't have too many older people. I meet with peers. I meet with people under like lower like that I'm discipling, but I do need to meet with someone who is kind of up there because I yeah, I'm old myself, but I need someone who's older who has a little bit of life um experience, more life experience. That's why it kind of pains my heart that I have the loss of my father. He is the person I would really love to talk to. Um, he's alive, but he's no longer able to communicate, which sucks. So my father-in-law, I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. I'll ask my wife about it. I'll ask my wife about it. He's the next man other than my father. I don't know. Maybe it'll help with his purpose of meeting with me regularly. But I'm not blood related. I feel like he doesn't like me. But whatever. I think everyone should be discipling someone, and I know he's not discipling anybody. But I think he's not. Maybe I'm just judging him. I don't know. Maybe I'll pray about that. I don't know. Continuing on, this is real life. What is it like to be a believer in the real world trying to follow Proverbs, which is kind of impossible, but we do our best as a baseline and we do our best to follow what it says in there. And by the grace of Jesus Christ, we will do our best. Um, but yes, please have people you could talk to and everything like that. That's what these two verses, verse 14 is talking. All right, let's go to the next one. Ooh, I didn't highlight this one. I'll highlight this one. All right, let's go ahead and do the reading. Proverbs 11:15 to 16 in the ESV. Whoever puts up security for a stranger will surely suffer harm, but he who hates striking hands in pledge is secure. A gracious woman gets honor, and violent men gets riches. Huh. I think I want to read this one. Here, let me go. I think I want to. I think I want to read this one. What I wrote. Whoever puts up security for a stranger will. Oh, okay. So let me go initially on what I get. Actually, this oh, that's not right. I do remember what I said about that. Go ahead and do that. Is secure. The gracious woman gets honor. The gracious woman gets honor, while gets a violent man, and violent man gets riches. Okay. Uh, all right. So this is the idea of making a pledge to people, and making a pledge to people is a really big deal. Now, if you are purchasing a house, then go ahead and you make a pledge that you're going to pay the mortgage, and you have a certain amount of monthlies you have to pay and everything. And you're also making a commitment to go ahead and pay for that. Now, the thing that happened to me when I was younger was my dad um, helped me purchase my Toyota Matrix. I put this in my, and what he did was he co-signed a loan for me so that I could go ahead and get a loan for my Matrix. It was a 20 something. And actually, it was a terrible purchase because that car had a lot of problems and it was terrible. But I really liked the shape. I really liked how it looked, and it was better than my DRX at the time. My what was it 1990 CRX two-door hatchback, which at the time I like. Anyways, um, and I had so many problems with that Matrix. Anyways, my dad went ahead and supported me on that. He allowed me to, because this was my first car that I actually bought. And so I bought it and I paid the monthlies on it for a long time until my wife and I decided to move up north. And so when I moved up north, we knew we had a lot of problems with the Matrix. So we sold it and we got like a couple $1,000s for it and everything. It was enough to buy a computer. Also, just needed extra money because I wasn't making a lot of money at the time. But when I moved up north, then I started making a lot more. Literally, I was making like $30,000 more than what I was making before. That was a big deal. So I was in the median at like 75K or whatever it was. My starting about 20 years ago. All right, 10 years. I've been in the district for about 10 years. So over 10 years. So starting at 75. Now I'm making six figures and stuff like that and doing well for myself. But why would I pledge my money and my capital and everything to someone I don't even know? That is terrible. The people I would do it for would be my family. Now, my friends, I would have to think about it, talk about it, do a plan and everything like that. If I wanted to, I'd have to talk to my wife. Like the verse 14, I would have to find wise counsel and think about it. But generally speaking, there would be a lot of discussions if it was someone not my family. But if it's my family, yeah, I would go ahead and specifically my immediate family, like my wife and my children. My brothers and sisters and stuff like that, I'm not sure about that. They have their own lives that they have to deal with and everything. So I'm not banking my brothers and sisters. Maybe I would support. Well, I'd support my mom and dad. So those are people I would support. But my brothers and sisters, like I can't support everybody. Like that's not me. I can't. They can live with me, but they have to kind of find a job and do all this. So I would house people in my family to help them and help them along. I have a friend who's living with me. He's my roommate, and so we've been housing him and helping him with his life and everything. And he's finally going to move out sometime in January and stuff like that. And great for him. He spent 10 years working on his nursing stuff, and so yeah, I actually risked my time with my family and everything to have him living with us. Right now, he's going to be gone, and so I'm gonna have to start living a life without him in the house, which is weird because he's like a presence. So will change my identity just a little bit or the way my way of thinking in life and stuff like that. So, anyways, that's like seriously, don't do it. Like I hate don't strike pledges with people, especially strangers. So I'm not gonna do it regularly. It has to be a special case and with a lot of counsel. So that's why I feel like I would be secure in such areas. So don't do that. Don't loan money to people. That's basically what it is. I feel like it would go bad with you. I know people loan money with me, but I was good for it, and I think I paid them back. I've paid them back, the people that I needed to pay back. I think from my uncle, I borrowed like $500 or something like that, because I just needed to get by, but I did give him back the money. So after I started working for Rails. Okay. Now this is an interesting one. A gracious woman. Let me read this. The gracious someone who is kind and honored will get riches, but that would be eternal in the kind that lasts. This is the violent person will also receive rich, but this is material. Okay, so again, this is what I thought. It's the thing is like a person who is gracious will get a lot of honor, like who is nice, kind, sympathetic, compassionate with other people and stuff like that. Basically, they're wise and uh, their words are uplifting and life giving, and obviously they'll get honor and respect. A violent person, yeah, they could go ahead and get rich and get a lot of material wealth and stuff like that, and be really good. But but they're still, but that's only materially, and that's not eternal, like honor and respect. Um, Having a legacy of material wealth is a thing, but the thing that but eventually those things could disappear and be gone. Especially in our day and age where it is possible that our country could be taken over by other countries, uh, by the way the government is, because we have people in our country that if we were going to go to war, they would not fight for our country. That's terrible. Why are these people here in our country if they're not going to fight for us? The freedom that they get for being here, they won't fight for that. They would fight for the other country. Like, seriously, then why don't you go back to the other country? That's how I feel about that this issue. If you cannot respect and honor the country that you're living in, that gives you a lot of benefits and rewards for being here, uh, you're disrespectful. You're coming here and using the system and abusing it, and you have no what's it called? Nationality? Not nationality. Nationalism. Is that what it's called? Or respect for the I get what's it called? The host country. They're hosting you, literally allowing you to come in and you disrespect them like this with crime, violence, and not even going to war if we had to go to war. Because I believe that eventually one day we will have to go to war. And it is possible that we just lose everything. But what do we have left? All we have left is our personality, our character, our integrity, our honor, our wisdom, and all that kind of stuff. Okay. But the material stuff will eventually be gone, could be gone. It can be taken away. But the way and who we are cannot. So keep that in mind. All right, here we go. Day 58. Hey, we're really flying through this. We've been doing this for like 45 minutes. That's 45 minutes. It's almost like 50 minutes. Wow. Do this for an hour. Pretty crazy. This is the longest stream I ever had. Not a lot of views, but whatever. This is something that I wanted to do, and I'm doing it. So we're gonna go with reading and the recording. Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome. Ugh. Eventually, I want to get something to eat for myself. Ugh. All right. Proverbs 11:17 through 18 ESV. A man who is kind benefits himself, but a cruel man hurts himself. The wicked earns deceptive wages, but one who sows righteousness gets a sure reward. I think it gets kind of repetitive, the things that they say. I think they're just kind of repeating things or okay, man, a cruel man, a righteous man, whatever. It's always that dichotomy of the two. They're always comparing the two and everything like that. And the man who is kind benefits himself because they have built good relationships. People trust them. They have a lot of integrity. Um, they work hard and someone you could trust and kind of a man of peace. They have life giving words. They people that yeah, I want this person in my corner. When they succeed, it's a rejoicing. Oh my gosh, it's a benefit. But someone who is cruel and everything like that, like seriously, they may get a lot of material wealth and all that kind of stuff because it is possible. Just like how a righteous person could be wealthy, also could be. I'm not saying you should seek that out, no, but you never know. So, because God gives who He gives to, and He also takes away from who He takes away from. Yeah, that's just the way it is. But a cruel man, in the end, emotionally and relationally and eternally, just hurts himself. That's just the thing. And when you're fostering negativity and stuff like that, um, you're just complaining. I feel like you just complain all the time. And you complain all the time. You don't see the good in what's happening in the world. There's always things that are bad. Maybe you become the victim. That's a kind of a theme that goes around that, oh my gosh, woe is me. The government's out to get me. These people are trying to take advantage of me. Oh, racism. And say all these little buzzwords and they play the victim. But they themselves are the negativity because they're not fostering wisdom. They're not fostering kindness, patience, and self control and all that kind of stuff. They just say cruel and hurtful things to other people, which in turn fosters kind of this idea about themselves, which is negative. So I wonder about these people who are yelling and screaming on the street corners of what kind of life they lead. So I want to say that I pray for them. I don't pray for them. I should pray for them a little bit that the Lord will reveal himself through the situations of all these protests and stuff like that. Um, it's negative from both sides. So I'm not going to go into that. But anyways, if you are generally cruel and slanderous, wicked, and all that kind of stuff, you're hurting yourself. That's basically it. Relationally and eternally is what it is. Um, so yeah, they talk about the wicked earning deceptive wages, meaning that when they are earning money or doing their work, they see as doing things through cheating, lying, and deceptive ways. Um, that is okay, which leads to verse 17, which is you're hurting yourself. Um, Maybe they're trying to find shortcuts to getting rich and all that kind of stuff. But I want to say that surefire way of doing well for yourself is to work hard, do the best that you can, and it'll be good. For instance, someone who sows righteousness, like righteousness is doing the right thing, fruits of the spirit, the pillars of wisdom, being responsible for your stuff, loving others, loving God, loving others, uh, making disciples, all those things, they get a sure, eternal, spiritual, fulfilling reward. The reward is not necessarily material. It could be if you get lucky and God blesses you in that way. Great, you can have material wealth and stuff like that. But there is relational and spiritual things and eternal things that are more important as a reward because material things go away. But the things that don't go away is your own personality and your values, morals, and your beliefs. All those things, and the way you teach other people, those things never go away. They'll continue to persist. And when you are gone, How do people remember you? Oh, he's the man who gave me things. Or he's the man who taught me how to live life in a way that's positive and uplifts other people. I don't know. What are you trying to sow? What are you building for yourself? When you say sow means you're like putting the seeds in the ground. And I want to say right now, if you want to sow righteousness, you want to sow things that are really good, you need to do your devotions daily. You need to be in the word daily. You need to pray daily. You need to have regular conversations with other people about God and life and everything like that. Positive conversations. Yes, you may fool around, play video games and all that kind of stuff, which I'm going to try to do later after this. Um, but again, yeah, you have to slowly build for yourself those things. That's why I'm writing a novel. I have to slowly write every single day, which I need to do a little bit better about my novel and just write it. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that one. Let's go to the next one. We are now on day 59 is where I am now. I haven't written anything about it. I haven't looked at the verses. So let's go ahead and do the reading and then we'll talk about it and see what we get. Which is interesting because I just went over all the way from verse 7. How many verses is that? 7, 20. That's 13. So I did 13 verses and talked about an hour about each of these verses. Um, but we're on day 59. Let's go ahead and do the reading. Proverbs 11, 19 to 20, ESV. Whoever is steadfast in righteousness will live, but he who pursues evil will die. Those of crooked heart are an abomination to the Lord, but those of blameless ways are his delight. All right, let's go ahead and just do the regular one. Whoever is steadfast in righteousness, this is obviously yellow, will live. He who pursues evil will die. Those of a crooked heart are an abomination to the Lord. I feel like this is going to be a real quick one. But those who are blameless, those but those of blameless ways are his delight. Okay. Again, it's the wicked versus righteous. It's the same thing over and over again. And I just talked about this in verse 18 is the sowing thing. It's the steadfast thing is being consistent. When you're consistent in doing your daily devotion, spending time with God, spending time with others, and all that kind of stuff, you will live a life that is appropriate for the righteousness and the reward. You'll get all that. You'll have eternal security. You'll also have good relationships with other people because you're fostering positivity. And when you're sowing positivity in yourself and the people around you, that just kind of circular. It's circular. It just continues on with the relationships and all that kind of stuff. And so, oh, I didn't do the thing. And so I was okay. Let me backtrack. Whoever is steadfast in righteousness will live. He who pursues evil will die. Those of crooked heart are an abomination to the Lord, and those blameless ways are his delight. And so, yeah, that's what steadfast is that you continue on it despite how you feel. You just continue to do it each day and make it a habit. Once you make it a habit, your life will continually be filled with the things of God. And if your life is being filled with the things of God, you kind of grow in yourself the characteristics of God. You're not going to be God, but you're going to build those characteristics, and that's part of that is wisdom, having the seven pillars, fruits of the spirit, being respectful, being responsible, especially for your own actions and everything like that. Um, but again, if those who pursue evil have a crooked heart and all that kind of stuff, they will die. It's not necessarily a physical death, but it's a spiritual death. And it's also a relational death because you don't foster those relationships that are uplifting and positive. There may be people in your life that are trying to be positive towards you, but those people will kind of go away if you keep on being toxic and negative and stuff like that because being in your presence does not do well over time. Because if you stay within it, you're actually bringing down other people when you're doing that. So in the area of toxicity, people who are toxic, yeah, you eventually you have to just stay away from those people. Don't have those people in your life. Okay. Uh, what I really need to get on my son about is contrariness and stuff like that. I love my son and everything like that, but the one thing that I wish he wouldn't do so much is to yuck all of our yums. When we say positive things, nope, that's not true. Um, I want my son to watch his mouth and have self control. That's my thing. Anyways, pursuing evil will die. Crooked heart is abomination to the Lord. But when you keep your ways blameless, it is his delight. Now, again, this is a baseline. It is an ideal. I'm not blameless. I'm not perfect. I don't continuously work really hard during work hours. Right. Sometimes I just relax just a little. Um, I get on my phone and watch something or read something, especially at home. Like I could continue to do work constantly, but I get lazy and tired. Yeah. I generally do everything, the work that I need to do. But again, um, but when we are blameless, obviously we're his delight. We want to do the best that we can. If we're following his ways, doing the things that we are supposed to be doing as believers, being wise and everything, stuff like that, following the Great Commission, which is making disciples, the Great Commandment, which is loving God, loving others. We're doing the baseline things, having our daily devotions, praying daily, having regular conversations with other people, quiet times with the Lord, spending quality times with the Lord. Then it will encouraging other people. Yeah, we'll do good. We'll be doing good. So, hey, I got through it. Sweet. Um, Wait, how long have I been doing this? Oh, I'm still streaming. Oh, I've been doing it for an hour. So I've been doing this for an hour, and I think I'm ready to go ahead and do some maybe gaming. I don't know. Maybe I'll come back to that. But right now, I think it's time for some breakfast. Thank you for tuning in. Those of you who end up wanting to watch this in the future, because I did not get any, even though I streamed this, I didn't get a lot of people going, but that's fine. Whatever. Um, it's just me talking. But I do wanted to go through Proverbs, and thank you for joining me. Whatever time it is. Did you figure out what season I'm in right now? Okay. Anyways, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.